from somebody that's here, person works. Sir, the FBI just came in. I said, what? The FBI? Who? And they go, the FBI. And I said, how many people? Many, many people, sir, many.
At 11:47 p.m. On a moonless Thursday night, the FBI director stands before a sealed briefing room in Washington and says 5 words that will rewrite everything we thought we knew about organized crime in America. We have rescued 450 children. Los Angeles, California, San Diego Bay, Marina del Rey, Santa Monica Harbor. These are not just coastal cities anymore. For the past 7 years, they have been the operational headquarters of the largest human trafficking empire ever discovered on American soil. An empire disguised as mercy. An empire wrapped in charity galas, United Nations speeches, and $20 million mega yachts. This is the story of how the FBI, ICE, and the Coast Guard infiltrated a humanitarian organization that was never about saving lives. It was about owning them. And the man at the center? A billionaire philanthropist named Marcus Valente. A face you've seen on magazine covers. A voice you've heard at global summits. A monster you never suspected. By the time you finish this story, you will understand how evil doesn't always wear a mask. Sometimes it wears a smile, shakes hands with senators, and sails away on a yacht named Compassion. But not anymore. 4:32 a.m. Marina del Rey, California. The fog rolls in thick off the Pacific. The harbor is silent except for the soft clang of metal rigging against yacht masts. Neon dock lights flicker through the mist like dying stars. Most of the city is asleep, but the federal government is wide awake. 12 black SUVs roll to a stop along the perimeter of Dock 7. No sirens, no lights, just the hum of engines cutting through pre-dawn darkness. FBI hostage rescue teams step out first, dressed head to toe in black tactical gear. Then special agents, ICE enforcement units, Coast Guard maritime security response teams armed with breaching equipment and thermal scopes. They move in perfect silence toward one target. The Compassion, a 200-foot luxury mega yacht registered under the Valente Humanitarian Foundation. Officially, it's used for international rescue missions and refugee aid operations across the Pacific. Unofficially, it is a floating fortress, a mobile hub for one of the most sophisticated human trafficking cartels ever constructed. At 4:34 a.m., Coast Guard fast boats surround the yacht from the water. Snipers take positions on neighboring vessels. FBI agents sweep onto the main deck from both sides. Federal agents, show your hands. Nobody moves. Flashbangs explode inside the lower cabins. The yacht rocks as agents flood through hallways and staterooms. Security guards in expensive suits try to reach for concealed weapons. They don't make it 2 steps. SWAT officers pin them to the teak floors, zip ties snapping around wrists. But the real discovery is below deck. In what should have been cargo holds, agents find reinforced steel compartments. Locked from the outside. Soundproofed walls. Ventilation systems running on backup generators. They blow the doors. Inside, they find them. 43 children, ages 6 to 16, huddled in the darkness. Some crying, some too numb to cry anymore. Blankets on the floor. Protein bar wrappers scattered like evidence of slow starvation. No windows, no way out. One agent, a father of 2, steps into that room and has to turn away. He radios command with a voice that barely holds together. We've got kids. Lots of them. They're alive. But this is only the beginning. Because while Coast Guard teams are securing the yacht, FBI raid units are hitting 6 other locations simultaneously across Southern California. A luxury estate in Beverly Hills registered to a shell company called Mercy Global LLC. Agents smash through the front gates and find a private medical wing in the basement. Surgical tables, IV stands, sedatives stocked in commercial quantities, and 12 more children locked in windowless rooms with hospital beds. a warehouse in Long Beach disguised as a non-profit storage facility. Inside, agents discover falsified travel documents, forged passports from 14 different countries, and a digital command center tracking ship routes, port schedules, and Coast Guard patrol gaps along the entire Pacific coastline. A private airport hangar in Van Nuys. 2 chartered jets with custom interior modifications. Seats removed. Cargo netting installed. This is not how you transport medical supplies. This is how you move human cargo. And at a beachfront villa in Malibu, they find Marcus Valente himself. He is sitting on the terrace in a silk robe, sipping coffee, watching the sunrise like a man without a single worry in the world. When agents storm through the glass doors, he doesn't run, he doesn't resist, he just smiles. "I think you've made a mistake," he says calmly. "No," the lead agent replies. "You did." They cuff him and walk him out in front of cameras that were not supposed to be there yet. But word travels fast. And the world is about to see the face of a man who spent a decade pretending to save lives while destroying them. By 6:15 a.m., the raids are complete. Total seizures, $31 million in cash, 14 luxury vehicles, 2 mega yachts, 3 private jets, falsified documents for over 600 individuals, and encrypted servers containing years of operational records. And most importantly, 450 children recovered alive. But when FBI cyber analysts crack open those servers later that morning, they realize this is not just about one man. This is about a machine, a global network, and it runs deeper than anyone imagined. 9:03 a.m. FBI Cyber Division, Los Angeles Field Office. The room is cold, sterile, lit by rows of monitors glowing with lines of decrypted code. Senior forensic analysts have been working non-stop since the servers arrived. What they are seeing now makes veteran investigators go silent. Operation Sanctuary. That is the internal code name Marcus Valente used for his trafficking empire. Not a cartel, not a gang, a fully operational multinational corporation disguised as a humanitarian mission. The files reveal shell companies layered across 12 countries. Mercy Global LLC, Valente Relief Fund, Pacific Child Services, Horizon Rescue Initiative. All nonprofit fronts. All tax-exempt, all funded by donations from corporations, foreign governments, and private investors who had no idea where the money actually went. But the analysts can see it now. Charity donations funneled into offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands, Cyprus, and Panama. From there, money flowed into logistics companies that operated cargo ships, freight forwarding services, and private charter airlines. These weren't rescue missions. They were supply chains. Children trafficked from conflict zones, refugee camps, and impoverished villages across Southeast Asia, Central America, and Eastern Europe were moved along routes designed to look like humanitarian evacuations. Fake paperwork, forged health inspections, bribed port officials. Every step documented, every transaction encrypted. And at the center of it all is Marcus Valente's digital signature. His authorization codes appear on shipping manifests, flight logs, and wire transfers connected to trafficking operations in 9 different countries. But here is the part that makes federal prosecutors stop breathing. He was not working alone. The servers reveal regular encrypted communications with high-level contacts inside California's state government. A fictional governor's chief of staff named Gerald Rustin. A fictional Los Angeles deputy mayor named Patricia Langford. A fictional Port Authority director named Samuel Crane. All of them received monthly payments disguised as consulting fees, campaign contributions, and foundation grants. In exchange, they ensured that port inspections were relaxed during specific arrival windows, that Coast Guard patrols were redirected away from certain shipping lanes, that Child Services investigations into Valente's facilities were delayed, buried, or closed without follow-up. This is not corruption. This is command-level collusion. One analyst pulls up a particularly chilling file. It is a master plan titled Sanctuary Protocol, West Coast Expansion. It outlines Valente's long-term strategy to turn California's ports into the permanent gateway for Pacific trafficking routes, to establish a network so embedded in state infrastructure that it would be untouchable, to build a system where trafficked children could be moved through American territory as easily as shipping containers. The lead investigator leans back and stares at the screen. He was building an empire, she says quietly, and he almost succeeded. But the operation is not over. It is just beginning. Because while FBI analysts are uncovering the financial web, another task force is preparing to dismantle the entire network in one coordinated strike. 5:47 a.m. The following morning, Joint Operations Command Center, Los Angeles. A massive digital map covers the wall. California's coastline glows with over 60 red markers. Each one represents a location tied to Operation Sanctuary, warehouses, private estates, shipping companies, medical clinics, fake orphanages, transit houses, hotels with modified rooms, marinas with vessels flagged under foreign registries. This is the full scope of Marcus Valente's empire. And today, the federal government is going to erase it. Over 1,400 federal agents are deployed. FBI crisis response teams, DA's Homeland Security Investigations units, ICE enforcement and removal operations, Coast Guard Maritime Law Enforcement, U.S. Marshals Service, ATF tactical units, and support from the U.S. Navy with patrol vessels positioned offshore to intercept any fleeing craft. At 6 a.m., the operation launches. In Santa Barbara, SWAT teams breach a cliffside mansion registered to a nonprofit called Children Without Borders. Inside, they find a medical facility running illegal adoption processing, falsified birth certificates, forged immigration papers, and 19 children waiting in holding rooms for buyers who will never arrive. In San Diego, DACE agents hit a freight logistics company operating out of a commercial shipping yard. They find modified cargo containers with ventilation systems, built-in lighting, and concealed entry points. These containers were designed to move human cargo across the Pacific without detection. Manifests show they have been in operation for 5 years. In Long Beach, Coast Guard teams intercept a cargo freighter attempting to leave port under emergency departure clearance. The ship is registered to a Valente-linked shell company. When agents board, they find 31 children locked in a converted cargo hold below the waterline. In Riverside County, ICE tactical units raid a sprawling ranch property advertised as a youth rehabilitation center. It is actually a transit hub. Children are held here temporarily before being moved to secondary buyers or trafficked further inland. Agents find coded ledgers, burner phones, and detailed records of transactions going back 3 years. And in downtown Los Angeles, federal agents storm the offices of the Valente Humanitarian Foundation itself. They seize computers, financial records, donor lists, and employee files. They arrest the foundation's CFO, head of operations, and director of international programs. All of them have been on Valente's payroll since the beginning. All of them new. By noon, the raids are complete. Total results: over 200 additional children recovered. 73 arrests including cartel operatives, corporate facilitators, corrupt officials, and medical personnel. Seizure of 18 properties, 9 vessels, and financial assets exceeding $89 million. The underworld took more damage in 6 hours than it had in the last 6 years. But the deeper investigators dig, the worse it gets. 2:34 p.m. Federal Detention Center, Los Angeles. FBI agents are interrogating mid-level operatives who ran day-to-day operations for Valente's network. And what they are hearing is almost impossible to believe. One logistics coordinator explains how the system worked. Children were trafficked into the U.S. under the cover of humanitarian rescue missions, fake disaster relief, refugee relocation programs, emergency evacuations. Paperwork was processed through Valente's nonprofit partners and approved by compromised officials in immigration services and child protective agencies. Once inside the country, children were moved through a network of transit houses, private medical facilities, and temporary shelters. Some were sold to wealthy buyers looking for domestic workers, illegal adoptions, or worse. Others were trafficked further inland to secondary networks operating in Nevada, Arizona, Texas, and beyond. But the most disturbing part is how deep the corruption goes. Investigators review seized communications and find evidence of payments to over 40 individuals in law enforcement, port security, and state agencies. Border agents who allowed containers to pass without inspection. Child services caseworkers who closed investigations after receiving cash payments. Judges who approved custody transfers without verifying identities. One FBI agent pulls up an email chain between Marcus Valente and a fictional California Port Authority director named Samuel Crane. The subject line reads, "Quarterly schedule, adjusted." The email details specific dates and times when Coast Guard patrols would be redirected away from certain docking zones, when port inspections would be minimized, when shipping manifests would be pre-approved without physical verification. It is not negligence, it is coordination. Another agent interviews a former employee of the Valente Foundation who finally agrees to cooperate. She describes how Valente operated with absolute confidence, how he believed his wealth, his political connections, and his public image made him untouchable, how he once told staff members during a private meeting, "The world sees what I let them see." And right now, they see a hero. But that illusion is shattered now, because while federal prosecutors are building the case against Valente, investigators are uncovering something even more terrifying. The network did not stop at California's borders. FBI analysts trace financial flows from Valente's offshore accounts to logistics companies operating across the entire West Coast. Shipping routes connected California ports to Seattle, Portland, Vancouver, and Anchorage. Trucking contractors moved cargo through Nevada, Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico using falsified bills of lading. But the most alarming discovery comes from decrypted files labeled Pacific Expansion, Phase 3. Valente was planning to scale the operation, to turn the entire West Coast into a controlled trafficking corridor. He had already secured partnerships with shell companies in Mexico, the Philippines, Thailand, and Colombia. Routes were being established to move children from conflict zones and poverty-stricken regions directly into U.S. territory under the cover of international aid. The plan included acquiring more vessels, chartering additional flights, and embedding operatives deeper into state and federal agencies. Valente's internal projections estimated that within 5 years, his network could move over 10,000 individuals annually without triggering a single federal investigation. He was not building a criminal enterprise. He was building an industry. One senior FBI official reviewing the files leans forward and says what everyone in the room is thinking. If we had been 6 months later, this would have been unstoppable. But they were not late. They were exactly on time. And now the world knows. 3:16 p.m. FBI press conference, Los Angeles field office. The FBI director steps up to the podium in front of a wall of cameras. Behind him stand representatives from DHS, ICE, the Coast Guard, and the U.S. Attorney's Office. The room is packed with reporters. The broadcast is streaming live across the country. He begins. Over the past 48 hours, federal law enforcement agencies conducted a coordinated operation resulting in the rescue of 450 children and the dismantling of one of the largest human trafficking networks ever discovered in the United States. He pauses. The room is dead silent. This network was led by Marcus Valente, founder of the Valente Humanitarian Foundation, and operated under the disguise of international charity work. It involved shell companies, offshore financial networks, and the corruption of multiple individuals in positions of public trust. He lists the charges: human trafficking, conspiracy, money laundering, racketeering, bribery of public officials. Each one carries decades in federal prison. This case is not just about one individual, the director continues. It is about a system that was built to exploit the most vulnerable. And today, that system has been destroyed. The cameras flash, the reporters scribble notes, and somewhere in a federal holding cell, Marcus Valente sits alone, his empire burned to ash. But this story is not just about one arrest or one operation. It is about what happens when power, money, and influence converge to create monsters who believe they are untouchable. Marcus Valente was not a street-level criminal. He was a billionaire, a philanthropist, a man who shook hands with world leaders and received humanitarian awards. And for 7 years, he used that image as a shield while he trafficked children across international borders. He believed that wealth could buy silence, that influence could buy protection, that a smile and a charity gala could cover the screams of 450 children locked in the dark. He was wrong. Because power does not always need violence to destroy. Sometimes it just needs silence, ambition, and people willing to look the other way. But when good people stop looking away, when investigators refuse to be bought, when agents kick down doors at 4:32 in the morning and find children who thought no one was coming, that is when the system breaks. That is when justice wins. Human trafficking is one of the fastest-growing crimes in the world. It thrives in the shadows. It hides behind legitimacy. And it only stops when we refuse to stay silent. If you are still watching, tap like so more people see this story. Comment expose if you believe corruption should be dragged into the light, no matter how powerful the people involved. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because stories like this are not just entertainment. They are warnings. And the next time you see a billionaire philanthropist smiling on a magazine cover, ask yourself, what are they really building? Because sometimes the greatest evil wears the face of mercy. And sometimes the only thing standing between innocence and destruction is a team of federal agents willing to do what is right, no matter the cost. 450 children are safe tonight because of them. And that is the only number that matters.